Yah, please fill me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yah, pay careful attention and respond. Yud He Vav He is our power and authority. Yahweh works in unity with himself. And you shall act upon your love to Yahweh with your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Psalm 51 through 55. For the leader, a psalm of David, when Nathan the prophet came to him after his affair with Bathsheba. God, in your grace, have mercy on me. In your great compassion, blot out my crimes. Wash me completely from my guilt, and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my crimes, my sin confronts me all the time. Against you, only you, have I sinned, and done what is evil from your perspective, so that you are right in accusing me and justified in passing sentence. True, I was born guilty, was a sinner from the moment my mother conceived me. Still, you want truth in the inner person, so make me know wisdom in my inmost heart. Sprinkle me with hyssop, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow. Let me hear the sound of joy and gladness, so that the bones you crushed can rejoice. Turn away your face from my sins and blot out all my crimes. Create in me a clean heart, God. Renew in me a resolute spirit. Don't thrust me away from your presence. Don't take your Ruach HaKodesh away from me. Restore my joy in your salvation, and let a willing spirit uphold me. Then I will teach the wicked your ways, and sinners will return to you. Rescue me from the guilt of shedding blood, God, God of my salvation. Then my tongue will sing about your righteousness. Yud He Vav He, open my lips, then my mouth will praise you. For you don't want sacrifices. I don't want, or I would give them. You don't take pleasure in burnt offerings. My sacrifice to God is a broken spirit. God, you won't spurn a broken, chastened heart. In your good pleasure, take Zion prosper. Make Zion prosper. Rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Then you will delight in righteousness. Then you will delight in righteous sacrifices, in burnt offerings and whole burnt offerings. Then they will offer bulls on your altar. For the leader, a maskil of David, when Doeg from Edom came and told Shaul, David has arrived at the house of Ahimelech. Why do you boast of your evil, you tyrant, when God's mercy is present every day? Your tongue, as sharp as a razor, plots destruction and works deception. You love evil more than good, lies rather than speaking uprightly. You love all words that eat people up, you deceitful tongue. This is why God will strike you down, seize you, pluck you from your tent, and uproot you from the land of the living. Selah. The righteous will see and be awestruck. They will jeer at him, saying, this fellow wouldn't make God his refuge, but trusted in his own great wealth, relying on his evil plots. But I am like a leafy olive tree in the house of God. I put my trust in the grace of God forever and ever. And I will praise you forever for what you have done. And I will put my hope in your name, for this is what is good in the presence of your faithful. For the leader, on Makalat, a maskil of David. A brutish fool tells himself there isn't a God. Such people are depraved. All their deeds are vile. No one of them does what is good. God looks out from heaven upon the human race to see if even one is wise, if even one seeks God. Every one of them is unclean, altogether corrupt. None of them does what is good, not a single one. Won't these evildoers ever learn? They devour my people as if they were eating bread, and they never call on God. They will be gripped with terror, even though now they are not afraid, for God will scatter the bones of him who is besieging you. You are putting them to shame because God has rejected them. If only salvation for Israel would come out of Zion when God restores his people's fortunes. What joy for Yaakov, what gladness for Israel. For the leader with stringed instruments, a maskil of David, when Zephim came and told Shaul, David is hiding with us. God, deliver me by your name. In your power, vindicate me. God, hear my prayer. Listen to my words from my mouth. For foreigners are raising against me. Violent men are seeking my life. They give no thought to God. Selah. But God is helping me. Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh is my support. May he repay the evil to those who are lying in wait for me. In your faithfulness, destroy them. Then I will generously sacrifice to you. I will praise your name, Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, because it is good, because he rescued me from all trouble, and my eyes look with triumph at my enemies. For the leader with stringed instruments, a maskil of David. Listen, God, to my prayer. Don't hide yourself from my plea. Pay attention to me and answer me. I am panic-stricken. As I make my complaint, I shudder at how the enemy shouts, at how the wicked oppress. For they keep heaping trouble on me and angrily tormenting me. My heart within me is pounding in anguish. The terrors of death press down on me. Fear and trembling overwhelm me. Horror covers me. I said, I wish I had wings like a dove, then I would fly away and be at rest. Yes, I would flee to a place far off. I would stay in the desert. Selah. I would quickly find a shelter from the raging wind and storm. Confuse, Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, confound their speech. For I see violence and fighting in the city. Day and night they go about its walls. Within are malice and mischief. Ruin is rife within. Oppression and fraud never leave its streets. For it was by an enemy who insulted me. If it had been, I could have borne it. It's not my adversary who treated me with scorn. If it had been, I could have hidden myself. But it was you, a man of my own kind, my companion whom I knew well. We used to share our hearts with each other. In the house of God we walked with the crowd. May he put death on them. Let them go down alive to Sheol, for evil is in their homes and also in their hearts. But I will call on God, and Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh will save me. Evening and morning and noon I complain and moan, but he hears my voice. He redeems me and gives me peace, so that no one can come near me, for there were many who fought me. God will hear and will humble them. Yes, he who has sat on his throne from the start, Selah. But they never change and they don't fear God. My companion attacked those who were at peace with him. He broke his solemn word. What he said sounded smoother than butter, but his heart was at war. His words seemed more soothing than oil, but in fact, they were sharp swords. Unload your burden on Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved, but you will bring them down, God, in the deepest pit. Those men so bloodthirsty and treacherous will not live out half their days. But for my part, Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, I put my trust in you. End with the Aaronic blessing. Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yahweh will illuminate the wholeness of his being toward you, bringing order. and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yahweh will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.